welcome everyone to episode 13 of Aeos Clubhouse. I'm Kyle Ferguson. I am joined by Kiyeberries. Welcome, Kiyeberries.
Hello.
I am joined by Mochrie. Welcome, Mochrie.
Hello. I'm still dancing because I gotta dance enough for both me and Kiyeberries because she's camless this time.
Thank you for carrying the dance. I really appreciate that.
Actually, it's the new Halloween song that carries the dance.
Nice.
Have you been in there? Did you turn off your music long ago? Is this the first question?
Yeah.
I
was tired of the same song every day. I would always tell my friends, "Oh, I love Pokémon UNITE's song." You know, it was a very, it felt like I was listening to Migos. I was the same thing every time. So, no, I turned that down a while ago.
Well, let me treat you then to just a moment of what plays when you enter the game right now. Yeah, it's Halloween themed.
Ooh,
wow.
Kind of like a Banjo-Kazooie vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just to sell Gengar skins.
I feel like I should see like a skeleton tapping to the beat or something, you know?
Yeah, this gives me strong Nightmare Before Christmas vibes. I like it.
Nothing's changed on the screen. There's no Halloween anything. There's no spooky ghost going by, and you're not a skeleton.
Cool though.
But yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
A little bit of holiday theming in there that was patched in on the 13th. Wait. Ooh, that's today. Spooky.
Nothing spookier than Wednesday the 13th.
Halfway, it's the toughest day for some, hump day for others. Let's talk about the week because it's been a nice slow week in comparison to Mamoswine and Sylveon. I had a lovely time on Greninja. I was sick this weekend, so I completely avoided ranked. I was not gonna get in there and try hard. So I got back to Rapid Spin Blastoise. I was playing some Greninja and really enjoying it. Mamoswine's looking good out there. Just had a wholesome time, and I feel really good at the game in standard mode, not ranked, where perhaps I'm owning people who don't have ranked yet.
I played ranked. I regret it.
I
don't know, man. This week in ranked has not been kind to me. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but my streak of people who don't like Dreadnought continues. I don't know if I'm in some kind of like special like non-Dreadnought fighter lobby, and it's sad. It's sad.
The Masters League, no Dreadnought.
It's just me. Like, I watch other people in Master and I don't see these problems, right? I see just normal stuff. Look at this game, doesn't have a tank. What is this? Why no tank? How did this happen? And I had a couple games where I played Defender because no one else was going to, and this one I remember I just wasn't paying attention in the draft. I was talking about something stupid, and the guy who's playing Cramorant was hovering Mamoswine, and then he switched to Cramorant, and since I wasn't looking, I wasn't able to switch quick enough. But like, what is this? No Defender game. Don't do Dreadnought. Just like, what is this? I feel cursed. I feel cursed. It's very discouraging sometimes.
And I'm watching this gameplay that you have up on the screen, and the Mamoswine turned Cramorant also seems to be running Fluffy Tail alongside it as well, which I find questionable to say the least.
There's so many questions. I had a Pikachu running XP share in the same lane as me.
In ranked?
In ranked. I'm Eldegoss. He's Pikachu.
Yeah, I love that when you just see the light bulb and you're like, you shouldn't have that.
If I see anyone who isn't me with the light bulb, I'm like, wait a minute. Unless it's the enemy Eldegoss. I'm just like, wait.
For the unaware, when you're wielding an XP share in your held item build, everyone else in the game can see it because you have a light bulb over your character's head. And if you are not a support, everyone can laugh at you for doing so.
Right. There are auras. I've seen them. You know, it's freaky. It's rare. It makes you go, wait, what is that thing? I do find that standard mode is swimming with defenders, and I like it. So I guess there's a brain switch when you get to ranked and you say, nah, I'm gonna carry. I'm done with this defending business.
Yeah, I missed the
Yeah.
week that Blastoise and Mamoswine came out because everybody was playing them. So like every game had a tank and it was great. But now, the newest character is Sylveon, so we're back to having numerous games where nobody wants to tank.
Also, I know that Mamoswine came out like a while ago, but is it just me or does he kind of have the Pikachu effect going on where like the kill pressure is insane for like the first couple levels? And then by the end, you're like, oh, there's a Mamoswine over there. Like, okay. You know what I mean? But like in lane, Swinub, this thing that looks like it has no external limbs. It's basically just a head covered in fur, has so much ability to take me out in the early game, and I just never expect it.
Feel that way about Lucario. I finally got to play him on the free-to-play rotation this week, and those opening punches are awesome. And then I found myself severely disappointed by the bone throwing.
Really?
I'm not great.
I feel like Lucario starts off the game incredibly menacing and just kind of keeps that same energy the entire time. There's a reason, for example, I'm going to talk about this a little bit here and there. I have been spectating a lot of the highest rank gameplay things that you get from the new Spectate feature that we got when the mobile release drops about a month ago. And I just see so much Lucario. Like those high rank players right now are just getting their fill of it. And we haven't even seen anything resembling a nerf on him, I believe, so far. So he is all over the place right now.
That's all. I mean, I think that's an awesome project that you're doing. So you're posting like 2 videos a day over there. You're watching a lot of high rank play.
I'm watching, so I've got my channel where I post 2 of the replays from those, like, here are the highest rated games being played right now, and I've got like a whole spreadsheet so I can mix, so it's not just like Venusaur, Cinderace, Lucario every day or something like that, I'm trying to like mix it up a bit. And I've got every character on there, some of them twice. I've got every character on there except Gardevoir. No one at high ranks is running Gardevoir right now, and that makes me sad because she's so much fun.
That climb to leveling though, and
man, nobody wants to be Ralts. Nobody wants to be Ralts.
Yeah, you're just at first Dreadnought, and Sylveon's got her ult, and you're over here, you're a Curlia, and you're just like, guys, please, this is not fair.
So
what's up?
What would be your like universal tips that you may have learned doing this, watching so much high rank play?
Ooh, okay, so there is one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of time, yes, there's like eject button is by far the most used item in this. Okay, we see a ton of eject button all over the place, but it's not unanimous. It's not every single person. I don't even know if unanimous is the right word to use there, but you get what I'm saying. Not everybody is running it. I see some X speeds, I see some full heals, and I see some fluffy tails. And so, me, I was just kind of throwing eject button on everybody. And as I play with more and more of the roster, I can see how, like, having a full heal, that unstoppable window on yourself on certain characters is really, really big. So I would say don't just blindly adhere to eject button in literally all circumstances. And I've seen a lot of really, really cool stuff while watching these replays too. Like, for example, this is hardly universal, like you said, but it was just so interesting that I have to bring it up. I saw a game, one of the replays that I uploaded was a Pikachu. And at the very, very start of this game, this Pikachu doesn't go to lane. It doesn't clear out the lane. It doesn't go to the jungle. It doesn't do any of that. It runs over to a launch pad to get into the central area. Those ones by the top and bottom of the jungle. It goes straight into the enemy jungle, runs forward, and starts out by taking out the enemy jungler's 2 crabs. And it actually clears both of the core fishes out of the enemy jungler before the enemy jungler is even finished with their buffs. And so now this Pikachu then joins lane with an equivalent amount of experience as if it had actually been in lane, while simultaneously depriving the enemy jungler of critical experience. And into certain enemy jungler matchups, that's huge, because if you manage to steal even one of their crabs, then you're depriving them of having level 5 for their first gank. So that means no Score Bunny evolution into Reboot. That means no Froakie evolution into Frogadier. And so that is a huge amount of loss from the enemy jungler in terms of XP that I think can lead to some early leads. I only saw a little bit of that happening, but it was so effective in what I saw, and it just really makes me want to try it. So those are some of my big takeaways from it so far.
The brain on this, you're showing it on screen now for the stream viewers, and That's some big brain. That's some big brain.
Well, and what I want to know is, we don't see the draft screen here or the select screen. Talonflame immediately goes to Little Pup. So we know that there was definitely some amount of I'm jungling, you're not, maybe. And was that then the choice? Pikachu said, excellent, that's fine. I'll go deprive their jungle. You do your side, because we all want to do the buffs first. And that's exactly what the enemy Greninja does here. Does the buffs.
Maybe they're pals. Maybe they're a stack, so they know the stratagem. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible. Especially when you're talking about players at the very top of the ranks. A lot of these guys know each other. I've been a top ranked player in a few games, and you get around. You know what I mean? You know the other players in your region. You're going to be stacking pretty frequently for the most part. So it's totally believable that there was a plan here.
This could develop into some weird stuff, like double defender, top bottom, one jungler, and then the other two run to the enemy side and hassle the jungler, while the enemy side hassles your jungler with two, and becomes this whole trade effect. It'd be action packed from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure, and that's this game, it's so action-packed, but it gives me such anxiety at times, because in Heroes of the Storm and League of Legends and Dota, if I look away for 5 seconds, I've missed a small amount of gameplay. If I look away from Unite for 5 seconds, I'm dead. It's proportionally a much bigger amount of the game, and without mounts to transport you around and whatnot, it's the difference between making it to Dreadnought on time and whatnot. It's such a fast-paced game, and certainly strats like this make it so you have to worry about all that even sooner, even earlier in the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, I find myself being more critical of my play in Pokemon Unite than I am other MOBAs. I tend to be a little more lackadaisical. I'll recover from this. No, if you make a wrong turn or you flounder out in the middle with nothing to do, you've wasted what? 20th of the game? Not really, but it can feel that way.
Yeah.
I had a game yesterday with an AFK player, and he was AFK for like the first 2 minutes. He showed up a little bit after the first Dreadnought, so maybe it was a little longer than 2 minutes, but either way, we actually only ended up losing the game by 2 points. So it was like tragic. Yeah, because if he had been there, he was Lucario. So if he had been there in the early game, we probably would have won, because we did really well in the late game. But just that little, those couple minutes, that's a huge chunk of the game. It mattered like a lot.
At least we always have the golden snitch at the end of the game to count on.
Yeah. Well, we did get Zapdos, and like I thought we would win, but we were down by 2.
Oh.
But yeah, it was heartbreaking. Also, like, I almost wasn't mad because it was so close, and like we fought so hard to come back once he did come back, that it still felt like competitive and felt good, but then we didn't win. So then,
I'm not mad when I lose like that if I felt like we gave it an honest, earnest effort. But if I lost like that because of an AFK, no, I'm shaken. I am furious.
The ones that get me are when people start spamming the surrenders really early, like as early as possible. They start spamming the surrenders, and you straight up know who's doing it because they're just standing around and they don't really participate. And it comes down to Zapdos, and they're off like top lane farming. And just try. Just try.
But
it's 10 minutes. Is it too much to ask you to try for 10 minutes?
Well, then you hit him right in that.
Like he crumbles after 4?
At the very least, try to Zapdos. If we lose Zapdos and then somebody starts AFKing, I mean, I'll still keep trying, but I'm not salty if somebody's like checked out if we lost Zap. But if you're checking out before Zapdos, I don't even understand why you're queuing up in the first place at that point.
Well, you can hit them right in the good boy points, right? See that minus as soon as it's over, report them. It feels, there's a instant return, a gratification there.
You're not getting a thumbs up from me, buddy.
This reminds me of like people talking about being a cashier, and when you really don't like this customer, you only tell them to have a nice day instead of a great day.
Savage.
There's a coupon that you could they could have clipped, but you don't tell them about it.
Yep.
Damn.
Those little ways that you get back at people, like not giving them a thumbs up.
So what? So what else? You saw a Pikachu doing an invade. Anything else come to mind?
Oh man, you're really putting me on the spot like this, man. This is dozens of games we're talking about.
Sure. Well, the overall themes. The things that stood out to you, perhaps.
Yeah, sure. There was a decent bit of it. One thing that I thought was kind of wild that I'm just looking at again is I would see an Eldegoss with potion, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I guess that's someone who doesn't play a lot of support, and they were like, we need a healer. Okay, and then whoa, no, I still have potion. I didn't change it, and I was like, okay, that must be what happened. And then I go into another replay, and there's another Eldegoss with potion, and I'm like, what's that about? And I go into another replay, and both the Eldegosses on both sides have potion. And I'm like, what's this? There's a trend here happening with an item that I don't want to sound closed-minded, but I wrote off potion as soon as I could. I was like, all right, get this thing off me. What do I got? X speed, X attack? All right, give me that instead. But there seems to be this trend. I don't know if this is new meta. I don't know if like 5 people in a row all made the same mistake, but I have seen a weirdly prevalent amount of potion Eldegoss at the top ranks.
Huh.
So there's your secret meta sauce for you.
Why though? Have you deduced the reasoning?
If I had, I would have explained it, dude. I am clueless here, man.
I can't. I got nothing. Eldegoss player enjoyer, and I'm like,
it's got.
I got nothing.
A 30-second CD, which is less than half of the 70-second CD of eject button. I don't know, man. Maybe it just helps give you that little bit of extra sustain that you need to keep your team in there or something. It does have a very short CD.
Are they all running speedy wins by chance?
Oh, that's the thing. Some of them have. It's actually been very mixed. There has been a decent split between Leaf Tornado and Pollen Puff, but I'm pretty sure like all of them have run Cotton Guard. I tried Cotton Spore for one game in my games, and I was like, this is terrible. And even though it was a norm, I felt bad for subjecting my teammates to it. So a mixed split between Leaf Tornado and Pollen Puff, and a whole lot of Cotton Guard.
Cotton Guard is just too good. I don't know how anyone lives without it.
Oh yeah.
It's a shield with a heal at the end, and the range on it is massive. It's like your entire screen. If you can see somebody, you can hit them with the shield. That's huge in the team fight. It doesn't matter where they're positioned. Lucario's over there flipping around with his bones. Zeraora's behind us jumping around. Doesn't matter. You can hit them.
And I think just like how when we had Shot on, I was asking him before he came on the show about Eldegoss and do you think a team needs Eldegoss? And he was saying, oh, if you have Cinderace, because Cinderace is really good at sustained damage. And Cinderace just kind of wants to trade auto attacks until the fight is over, sitting back. Pyro Ball's good now, by the way. That's wild as well, after I talked so much smack on it early on. But anyway, he was saying Eldegoss is really good with Cinderace because you're building for sustained damage. And I think the same thing is kind of true with Venusaur right now, who in my opinion is the best character in the game. Venusaur is building to out-trade damage with the enemy team and out-sustain them, and that's exactly what Eldegoss sets up perfectly. So in my opinion, that's kind of a free-low pairing right now, is the Eldegoss-Venusaur pair.
All right. You wrote here in the notes stuff about X speed?
Yeah, so with X speed there, one thing that I saw that I found particularly interesting, a replay that I just recorded, I think last night or the previous night, still scheduled to upload probably, is a Snorlax running X speed. And, you know, when I've been playing Snorlax, I've been all about the eject button. It lets you get behind people so that you can block them into your team. It extends the range of your heavy slam plays. There's a lot you can do with it. But I found the Snorlax running X speed, which again is a much lower cooldown than eject button. X speed has a 50-second cooldown compared to eject button's 70. And what I was realizing as we were looking at this is that if you use X speed in conjunction with block, that might increase your ability to be able to push someone out faster, to be able to CC chain them against a wall more effectively. Especially after block got nerfed really early on in Unite's history, to make the stun portion of it when you bump someone less effective. So it's entirely possible. My theory right now is that this Snorlax player that I was spectating was using X speed to make block more effective by running the wall into you faster.
Ooh.
So, just a whole lot of little secret sauce and tips that I've been getting from this. I'm very happy with the project so far. It's called Top Rank Unite Replays, is what it's called right now on YouTube.
What is the deal with Venusaur then? I see them all kind of running the same build, but it's just good.
Yeah. So basically, they've buffed this build, I believe, twice since Venusaur came out, where you have Petal Dance and Giga Drain. And the big thing to know about Venusaur is that Giga Drain, or what's its competitor? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I can pull it right up. Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb, you have basically cooldown reduction on your abilities from your other abilities. So as Venusaur, when I Petal Dance on an enemy, I'm reducing the cooldown of my Giga Drain. And Petal Dance is just a continuous flurry of damage all around you. So the more people that you're hitting, the more cooldown reduction for Giga Drain that you're getting. So if you're fighting more people, you're getting more Giga Drains. And Giga Drain simultaneously is an AoE life drain on enemies. So the more enemies you're fighting, the more life steal you're getting, the more you're healing yourself. So Venusaur, not only is he a powerful, capable duelist just in the strict 1v1 of running Petal Dance and getting a moderate amount of cooldown reduction on Giga Drain and just out-sustaining you, out-draining you over and over, but the second Venusaur is fighting more than one person, he just turns into an AoE monster. All right, he's got all this ridiculous Petal Dance damage. It's making him incredibly fast, and it gets to the point where when you're like fighting 3 people, Petal Dance basically gives you just spamming Giga Drain on CD. I've literally had fights where I just walk into the enemy team and I've just got my finger on right bumper for Giga Drain and I'm just hitting it as fast as I can, because that is the level of AoE damage and lifesteal that you can get on this character. Like I said, the second you join any kind of skirmish, team fight, anything that's like 2-on-2 or bigger, Venusaur is just going to do a ridiculous amount of AoE damage, and virtually your only answer is to spread really hard or to just burst him down and CC him down. Otherwise, he will absolutely run rampant through your team right now. He is way too good at fighting multiple people.
If there's a bunch of like larger team fights with that build, Venusaur's self-healing can out-heal Eldegoss's healing on the entire rest of the team. I confirmed it. So that's what I was in our notes when I said the recount thing. So if you go back into your profile where your game history is, you can go look at your past games and see if you played like World of Warcraft. Remember like recount, where you could see like a breakdown of your stats, how much damage you did and stuff. You can see that in this game too. It's just not on the end screen. What was that noise? That was weird. But anyway, I just heard the weirdest noise. So I was looking after my games, and the Venusaur's self-healing was very often, if there's a good amount of team fighting, higher than my healing on everybody else combined. And that was a scary thing to see.
And it's not like he's doing that while not doing a lot of damage either.
No, because in a team fight, so he's in there just, yeah.
Venusaur is simultaneously crushing the damage charts and out-healing the entire healers just in terms of what he does to himself. Like Kai said, that is absolutely bonkers. Like, yeah, Lucario's insane, Zeraora is insane, and I think those are some of the strongest characters in the game, but Venusaur is just on another planet, in my opinion.
Well, and Giga Drain here has a very small graphic, particularly compared to Petal Dance. So I'm aware they're Petal Dancing. I'm not necessarily aware of Giga Drain. In fact, in a certain
it's a
MOBA,
very low-key graphic, and it fades away very quickly.
In a certain MOBA that we all played, I got to the highest rank in the past using a hero who didn't have an auto attack flight animation. The bullet did not actually show on the screen. Therefore, nobody knew what I was ever attacking.
To be fair, isn't that closer to reality? You don't see real bullets flying by.
It's true.
Anything,
even quote unquote slower projectiles like an arrow. Have you ever shadow bow? Do you what? You don't like. I don't know who out here thinks they're in the Matrix.
An arrow out of the air.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not advice.
I don't know who you think you are, Batman or the Matrix or whatever, that you're gonna dodge an arrow flying at you. But I don't think you are.
Yeah, meanwhile, you go to League of Legends, you pull out a character with this gun, and it moves at approximately 5 feet per second.
Yeah.
The bull. Oh, and there's another thing I just want to touch on with Venusaur that I think is so interesting, is that a lot of characters, when I look at their ability upgrades are just sort of nice to have. Like, for example, Eldegoss, when you upgrade Leaf Tornado, which in its original iteration of the move does some damage and leaves an area covered with a ground effect that increases move speed of allies who walk through. That's nice to have. And the upgrade causes that tornado to blind enemies that walk through it, so their auto attacks will miss. That's totally different from what Eldegoss is trying to do. It can reduce some of the damage output, but it kind of conflicts with what's happening overall. It's like, oh, do I want to use this defensively? Do I want to use this offensively? It kind of fragments out your playstyle into a couple different perspectives. And it's just a nice to have upgrade that doesn't necessarily directly play into what you're trying to do. And that's the case on a lot of characters. But on Venusaur in particular, with this build that I'm talking about, Giga Drain and Petal Dance, both of their upgrades buff your exact playstyle. Giga Drain, as it upgrades, increases the HP stolen by Giga Drain, the amount restored. I don't think it increases the damage. And Petal Dance gets bigger when you upgrade it. So both of these things make him wildly more effective in team fights if he gets tankier, and his effect gets bigger, so it's harder to avoid, and he's getting more cooldown reduction through hitting more enemies. It's just absolutely wild that in a game where a lot of characters have these kind of random upgrades that don't do a lot for them, these Venusaur upgrades are already buffing his already nuts playstyle. So he has just a very focused kit that has one thing in mind and does it super well, and all of the upgrades move it in that direction. And that's something that's lacking for a lot of other kits in this game.
This has been a big advertisement for Venusaur today.
Oh yeah.
When do I take him? Like he's labeled as a ranged attacker, so clearly if we're in that last slot and we're seeing Pikachus and Lucarios and things are getting a little squishy out there.
Nah, just take him. Just take him all the time.
Just take him.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
It's fine.
I'm glad Kiyeberries is on the same page too. Y'all remember when I had like 5 different Bulbasaurs in episode 1? I've been waiting for this day, baby. All right. Venusaur, honestly, you can run him top, you can run him bottom, you can run him in the jungle. Those top rank replays that I keep mentioning, there's plenty of Venusaur jungle in those. There's plenty of Venusaur side lane in those. I think the fact that you have one on your team, regardless of where he is a massive boon to what you're doing right now. So it's honestly not even that important where you go.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Mochrie. We're all very happy for you.
Enjoying it while I can before it gets nerfed.
Well, let's head towards the news with this. We're going to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/Aeos Clubhouse. Today, we want to thank our newest patron, Charles B. Thank you for supporting the show at patreon.com/Aeos Clubhouse. Have lots of exciting goals we look forward to sharing with you over there. Help us out. Subscribe with whatever you can. $1 a show is all we ask. And thank you to everybody who's already subscribed.
Charles B?
Charles B?
Charles Barkley?
I don't.
Is that you, Chuck? Charles Barkley?
Could be. I don't think so.
Maybe he's a podcast enjoyer.
I'm willing to entertain the possibility. I love you on TNT, my guy.
We had a hotfix nerf on October 8th, which would have been a Friday, actually, right after we recorded a scandalous episode of the show where we talked about Sylveon being massively powerful, and they agreed with us, we'll say. This was a nerf to Hyper Voice and Mystical Fire.
So both of her,
nerfs. What's up?
both choices of damage, because they're on the same thing, right? So it doesn't matter what builds you want to go. It was a nerf.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's unavoidable. They were getting you no matter what. If you're picking Sylveon, you're feeling these nerfs.
And I've
probably deserved. She was a little OP. She's a little OP.
There's no probably about it, all right? Anybody who was playing on Sylveon release was begging for mercy, okay? We were like, get it out, okay? So I totally get it. I think the nerfs make sense.
this was a damage dealt overall nerf. So some of these abilities have different facets to them, such as the hyper voice deals more damage how far away they are from you based on how near they are to you. The mystical fire does front damage that's higher and then shoots the various flames around and deals more damage after that. Those values were not twisted in any sort of way. Nothing is weighted on either side. They're all flat number nerfs across the whole ability. So the hyper voice was taken down by 19.76, so 20% damage nerf there. And the mystical fire was nerfed by 36% on the overall total damage.
I guess that's a marker of just how obscene they were, because I've kept playing her. I played her a bunch yesterday, and she still feels like a lot of damage and like strong.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't even feel all that bad.
Everywhere.
It doesn't even feel all that bad. So, oops. I mean, she's no Venusaur, but still feels really good.
Well, that's good to hear. So there's no regret in the purchase then.
No, I did see some people who were like, "Oh, she got nerfed right after. I want a refund." And it's like, man, it's not that bad. It's not that serious. You're still gonna absolutely melt people.
Okay, let's be honest. Did you not see that nerf coming? And like, I get it. I get, you were slighted and you want your coins back if you bought something nerfed, because what you bought is not necessarily what you got after a while. But like, did you not see it coming?
Also, like, this is a MOBA. Balance changes are gonna happen all day, every day. You can't expect a character to stay the same.
No one's breaking into your meal and slapping your burger out of your hand saying, "That's too delicious," and they take your toppings. We're all sharing one burger, but also your enemies are eating that burger and they're upset that your burger's too delicious. It's a group problem.
This is a very tortured metaphor.
A good term for it. But we did get some questions exactly about that. Crits Cats in general, or Crits for Cats, asked, now that the dust has settled on the release and subsequent nerf of Sylveon, how drastic do you think the nerf really was? Some players are saying that the nerf to the ground was happening and that they're no longer viable. But
strong disagree.
Yeah,
still feels fine.
We're still seeing a lot of Sylveon at high ranks right now. And high rank players are all about the meta. They are all about playing what's really good right now. And I think that I would not see her being so represented so highly, where virtually every time I check that spectate menu, you got a couple Sylveons in there. So they're doing all right.
I will say I changed my tune on Calm. I wasn't taking it before because I just thought Draining Kiss was more fun. But I saw... Yeah, Calm Mind. I saw everybody running Calm Mind with Hyper Voice, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. I'll get on that, and it does feel really great, especially in the late game when you get Calm Mind Plus, and it gives you the shields and the one like take no damage thing. It's just awesome.
So adapting your build to be more mobile after the nerf, is that kind of what Calm Mind gets you?
Calm Mind gives you more damage, right? It's a buff. You pop Calm Mind and then afterwards you deal more damage, and then when you get Calm Mind Plus, it gives you a shield, and then it also does that weird thing where like after you pop it, the first damage you don't take damage. But that's Calm Mind Plus, and you get that at like level like 13 or something obscene. But anyway, it just makes Hyper Voice do more damage.
Gotcha. Oh, this is up against Draining Kiss, which you were all about last week. Okay.
I liked Draining Kiss. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun, but the extra damage from Calm Mind just, I don't know, feels better.
Is there any items that anyone's changed to kind of make up for that damage? I've heard some people running like Special X kind of stuff to see if they can get that damage back.
I don't know about that. I still have a eject button. I did switch to the double glasses. The double specs, and that feels pretty good. What are the new ones called? I forgot the name of the new ones.
Oh, the funky specs.
Yeah, the funky specs. The picture
specs.
The choice specs. I think
yeah,
the ones that
specs.
they're like.
There we go.
They're red and they've got specky.
Are the new ones that are really good.
Yeah, so I used one of those 7-day level 30 booster trier outers on them. And they feel pretty good. When that runs out, I'll probably invest in it for real because it feels good. The damage feels good.
I saw quite a few.
Yeah, what's up, Kyle?
I just saw lots of people making jokes about Gengar and everybody else wearing 2 glasses at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's in the zeitgeist, and people are aware that this is a thing.
Have you ever been like? I'm a glasses wearer. Ever been to a 3D movie where you got to put the 3D glasses over your glasses? Like that's what we're doing.
Yeah, back in Avatar.
That's me. Yeah, those ones, and then Wise glasses. So.
I just love that double glasses is kind of just generally understood to mean choice specs and wise glasses, even though there's a third special attack glasses item. It's all glasses all the way down.
Well, no, but
Yeah,
Could you do
glasses.
3 glasses? Take off the buddy barrier and do triple glass? That could be.
Yeah, blocking out all the haters. No light is getting through those bad boys. You could totally run triple glasses. I don't think anyone does it, but it's absolutely possible.
we need some goggles.
It's all about the eye wearing. There's I think about special attack, and I feel like there's a number of different things that could go into that, but it's all eyes. What's that about?
That gives you, I don't know, the special attack specs definitely seem like boo boo boo, like targeting, like 3D augmented reality.
They've got that Vegeta. What does the scouter say about his power level? Yeah.
Definitely, and like Google Maps is doing stuff on your screen and telling you Yelp reviews or something like that. Though I wouldn't call these glasses. I'd call them, well, they're called specs. What are the other ones? Those are specs too.
Specs are glasses, Kyle. What is this nitpick?
It's not a visor.
I like how the special attack specs look like the sunglasses a dude would wear when riding a jet ski. I just see a dude on a jet ski with some board shorts and like spiky frosted tips and those glasses. That's what that makes me think of.
So right now I'm checking up on the top 3 rated Sylveon players at the moment, and all 3 of them use double glasses in some form. So 2 of them are using Choice Specs Wise Glasses, and one of them, the Madman, is using Wise Glasses Special Attack Specs. So that is absolutely a thing that's happening right now.
He's just doing that to mess with people. Just
He's like, like before he logs out every night, he's like, I'm gonna change my build and this is gonna mess with so many people. And then he logs back in the morning and he's like, all right, time to put on my real items now.
Squeeze a cookie on there before you go to bed.
Yeah.
That would actually be funny though, like players trying to protect their strats, so they like log out with weird items and stuff just to confuse.
That was actually, I remember specifically people doing that in WoW. Where they would log out with suboptimal gear that was not best in slot and whatnot. I don't know. It was a very weird niche strategy that not a lot of people did, but there is precedent for this before. So that way, when people would look them up on websites to see what gear they were running, it was like completely wrong and not what they were actually using.
Oh man, that's like 2008 or something like that. That
the Armory website, wowarmory.com. Yeah.
The Grays. they're like teams would name themselves like the gray team, and they'd all be wearing just trash gear, and they'd all be rogues, and they'd get you just to show how much you suck in Burning Crusade. We were weird before optimization of the internet came about. We did
MMOs made you do weird stuff, man. They changed your whole personality when you're just sitting there subjected to the same game for like your 39th day in a row. You just become a virtual hermit, if you will. You start doing weird stuff to keep it interesting.
Beyond that, there was...
I was going to say, it's like when you've played enough Grand Theft Auto and you've like had your fill of, all the pew pew and the bank robbing. So you're like, I'm going to drive like a real person. I'm going to obey the laws of traffic in Grand Theft Auto. It's kind of the same way.
That's oddly specific and very true. Very true.
I was going to say, don't tell me you didn't do it.
No, absolutely. But you get that. You do 5 missions in a row, making the tanks mad, the helicopters show up, everything else, and you're like, you know what, this time I'm gonna stop at the traffic light, and it goes horribly wrong. You can't drive normally. Cyberpunk someday maybe. October the update that came today that released the Halloween music.
Hey,
Also added new items to the shop and bug fixes, of which I have no idea what they are, and I don't think the community knows what the bug fixes were. But
not yet anyway. Somebody will figure it out eventually, but it's too soon. Just bug fixes. That's what we get.
Mysterious mysteries. We got a strategy request from NX20 spelled out. And they asked, could you all go over the menus and do an overview of the menus? How do I find and review what the top players are running? What menus do you actually check daily and why? So this is something that we went over in the very, very early episodes back when it was scattered all about and it was a madhouse. Now it's all kind of hidden in one area, but it's also still confusing for anybody just getting into the game. So what's important?
So if you want to find out what the top players are running right now, and this is something I use pretty frequently for input, I'm not strictly following it 100% all the time, but it does let me know what some of the highest rated players are running. What you're going to want to do is from the main menu, you press the left trigger, aka ZL, and you're going to drop down to held items. This is going to give you the option between give items or all held items. You're going to want to click give items, and now you're almost there. Now you press X to change Pokemon. You're going to select the specific Pokemon that you want to see a build for. And then once you're at that Pokemon and you have selected them with A, then you press Y to see example sets. And you're almost there, digging through the UI. The example sets, the first two ones that they will show you are set by the company themselves. They are the recommended builds. Throw these ones straight in the garbage. Go ahead and scroll past these. And then the next three builds after that you're going to see are the builds being run by the top players for that character at the time. These change over time depending on how players are rated, but this is a resource that I use extremely frequently whenever I'm wanting to look at new builds, and especially whenever a new character comes out so I can see what they're using as well. In terms of how I've been spectating these top players and been able to see what abilities they're using, because what I was just talking about is held items. In terms of being able to tell what abilities and battle items players are using, this is something that's a little bit more of a pain to get to, but you can go to spectate from that same left trigger menu that we were at earlier from the main menu. You can go to spectate and go to top ranking trainers, and if you hop in one of these games that's being played by the highest rated players and start to spectate those lobbies and press up on the D-pad, this will open a scoreboard that lets you see everyone's ability choices and battle item choices. And so if you combine these two things together, this can give you a really good idea of what the high level meta is for ability usages, for held items, and for battle items all at the same time. It's a little bit of work. They do not make it easy and they bury it in a bunch of menus, but that information is accessible if you do those things.
So that's how you're getting your elite strats.
Yes. I am, when I'm not just like watching somebody on Twitch, because a lot of times that's really easy, but you're letting someone else direct what you're seeing, and maybe you want to go see something specific. So looking at top players' held items through that menu, spectating, watching people on Twitch, straight up just asking. Like I've just DM'd Shot on Twitter before and been like, hey, what do I build on this character? And he's been nice about it and helped me out. Like there's a lot of different avenues, but that's how I do it.
So here's mine. I talked about this earlier, and I'm looking at my phone right now, not my Switch. So I don't remember exactly what the Switch controls are. But if you open up the player menu, the top left, right, where you've got Pokemon Practice Closet and your player card, click your player card, and then go to battle record, and then there's going to be all the games that you played in, right? And you can scroll down and see bunches of them. That's where, so my last game was my Sylveon game here, and we're going to click, and then up at the top right you have score and then details. If you click details, that's going to give you the detailed breakdown of damage dealt, damage taken, recovery, which is the healing that character put out. So if you're playing an actual healer like Eldegoss, that's your healing on everybody. But if you're playing Venusaur, that's your healing on yourself, which is absurd. But you can also select individually people, either by scrolling down on the Switch or just tapping them on your phone, and you can see what abilities they took. Which, if I'm like, how did this person do so little damage? Oh, they took that ability? Or like, how did they do so much damage? You're like, oh, they took that ability, which I think is really helpful. And just looking at myself too, like I did less damage this game than I normally do. It gives you a breakdown kind of similar to, like I was saying, recount in World of Warcraft, where if you really want to know what you were actually doing, this is helpful. You can also add people to friends from this screen if you're like, oh my god, that Lucario was a god.
This is crazy. So you do not get this information when the game actually ends.
No, when the game actually ends and you're on the score screen, you do not get any of this information. This is the only place I have found that you can go get it. You have to go into your match history and then go over to details, and then there it is.
Oh my goodness, I'm a boss. Look at this.
Yeah, right. Like I look at my damage and I'm like, oh, I did so much damage. I'm Sylveon. This feels so good.
This is so it also breaks it down by percent. So I did 34% of the team's damage on Blastoise. And I guess recovery would be also a percent of the healing I did across the whole game for my team. Wow. This is kind of fancy.
Yeah, there's a lot of information here that especially if you're breaking down your own play or the play of your team and you're like, why did something happen? And then you see that like your Eldegoss outdamaged your Lucario and you're like, oh, I do see what happened there. Okay, gotcha, got it. There's a lot of info there
I
that...
get that you're singing the tactical praises of it, but I'm just looking at my battle record from my most recent ranked game and wondering how, as Eldegoss, I outdamaged and outhealed my Venusaur.
That is that's terrifying. Did you win the game?
We did.
But I was going to say, if you lost, I can tell you why.
To do.
Yeah. There's a lot of info there.
Phone. Like I was just desperately. It was like 6 p.m. yesterday, and I was like, the reset happens in an hour. And I'm on my phone in the car, just like wife was driving, and I'm like, I gotta get my games in.
Love it.
So my big menu tip is kind of embarrassing. Because I thought it said Pokemon at the top of the menus because it's a Pokemon game. And it was like, here's the Pokemon, this is your Pokemon menu. That's where your Pokemon actually are. And it took me forever to find where I could set my favorite, how I could go through what Pokemon I own, see what's on rotation, everything else like that. But let's also do a little rundown of all the goodies where you're going to get stuff. Because you see the red lights there on the side when you get to things like your energy rewards, your battle pass, but your main thing you're going to be checking out here is going to be your events. And that has, for many people, a bugged red light that will not go away.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's driving me insane. I can't handle that red light.
It demands clicking, and it does not exist.
There's nothing there.
So you have...
There's one feature from that Pokemon menu that I actually just do want to touch on before we move on, because it's so convenient. When we started at the game, it was a big question. Which characters do I want the attack stat for, and which characters do I want the special attack stat for? And if you go to that Pokemon menu, again in that left trigger menu where you can set your favorite and whatnot, anytime you go over a specific Pokemon in black, below the character's name will be either attack or special attack, letting you know which stat you need to build. It's very convenient.
Ah, look at that. Oh, Greninja's an attacker. Oh my god, I'm a noob. Oh no.
I'm also going to throw out from that Pokemon menu where you set favorite. I literally on the daily, people will tell me, oh, well, because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get Sylveon, but other people select it so much faster than me. And they're like, just select Sylveon as your favorite. That does not do what you think it does. Setting a Pokemon as your favorite, the only thing it does, the only thing is which Pokemon shows up on the home screen standing next to you. That's the whole purpose of favorite. It does nothing else. It does not change the Pokemon you're hovering when you first get into a battle. There's no actual way to change that. That's the first Pokemon that you picked when you start the game. They give you one for free. Whatever Pokemon you picked, it will always hover that Pokemon first. Favoriting does nothing practical. It just shows the dude standing next to you. Like, that's it. Please stop telling me to favorite Sylveon if I want to play Sylveon. That's not how it works.
You've been told.
While we're talking about menus here and battle passes and all that, there was a certain bit of upheaval this week, a bit of a drama bomb on the community as the battle pass requested everybody plays Garchomp.
Oh my gosh, yeah, people were big mad. Mochrie, I saw you on the Twitters.
Was Mochrie big mad?
Yes. Okay. So this week's Battle Pass challenge requires players as one of the weekly challenges worth a lot of points, more than a full level of the Battle Pass. And keep in mind, the Battle Pass this time only has 60 levels. That is a significant chunk of the Battle Pass that is gated behind playing Garchomp, who is not on the free rotation this week. Meaning, if you want to get those Battle Pass points, you gotta play Garchomp. You gotta buy Garchomp. And I did the math. I said, okay, if I can get this much gold every day, and I can get my fair play points every day, and I can hit the cap for gold this week, and I had some unfinished tutorials, I can do those, and those get me gold, I still end up about a little over 100 gold short. Even if I do everything that I can to even try to purchase Garchomp this week without spending any additional money. So this is just straight up for a lot of free-to-play players. This week's Battle Pass is impossible to fully complete for many free-to-play players. Even for me, I'm not free-to-play. You know, I've bought the 2 Battle Passes. I bought like 15 item enhancers or something on accident once. When I'm looking at this, I did the math and I realized in order for me to be able to get this without spending any money, I have to get lucky and get gold out of the energy generator, the weekly loot boxes, to be able just to buy Garchomp so I can do this. And that's only if I grind as much as possible to even get me that close to being able to buy Garchomp. So I am very unhappy that my weekly Battle Pass progression is being gated behind something that's like a very blatant cash grab. It's no good.
It was also a little twisted that just last week Garchomp was on the rotation. So when I saw it, I went, oh, well, excellent. Let me queue up. I don't like the early game because I just get completely destroyed endlessly on Gibble. I think I'm this Lord of Destruction and adorable, but I end up just doing poorly. But late game, I do all right. And lo and behold, they weren't there.
I'm of 2 minds on it, and both of them are okay. So number one, I have bought characters with like dollars. I bought Sylveon with dollars. So I'm not opposed to buying characters with dollars, but I'm not going to buy a character with dollars just to complete a quest. But on the other hand, even if I owned Garchomp, I wouldn't do it anyway. I didn't like playing him when I tried him, and I'm just not like, the quests don't motivate me enough to do things I won't enjoy in video games. I'm too old for that. So if it's not a character I want to play that I like to play, the reward has to be pretty high, like the pink Slowbro ears, to get me to do it. But if it's not pink Slowbro ears or pink ears or something really cute or cool, if it's just battle, I'm not going to do it. So I'm not doing it.
That's
so
fair.
I guess I wasn't mad because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do it anyway. So whatever.
Guess we're both not doing it for different reasons.
Not doing it. I do, though. I am surprised it wasn't a free rotation character that went along with the quest, because that would make more sense. I feel it would get people to play the character. Some people would like the character, and then they would purchase the character, right? That's the... I would think that would be the order of operations. Yeah. So it was a little weird for sure. Just, I'm not doing it. So.
Well, hopefully this has held their feet to the fire a little bit. The community's certainly a bit upset about it. And we don't know what next week's Battle Pass stuffs are going to be yet. It seems like a very bizarre way to test Garchomp or get data on him when a free-to-play rotation would accomplish just that. Or do it both at the same time. So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll let you all know if this progresses in villainy. But for now, let us return to the mailbag, where Celebi asks, so does anyone know what that exploit is that's causing players to be able to make themselves win manually? I saw it in the R Pokémon UNITE, and they were warning against doing ranked matches because of it. Now, this was about 2 weeks ago that this was really, really hot.
Yeah, I believe since then that the issue has been patched. And I'm actually looking at a Pokemon Unite tweet right here that I'm going to go drop in our Discord if you want to show that on screen. Pokemon Unite tweeted, "We are aware of an issue where some players with unstable internet connections are being moved to matches with AI opponents. The original lobby results are shown regardless of the AI match results. We are currently investigating this issue. Thank you for your patience. That was on September 30th, so just about 2 weeks ago. And I am looking through, and I don't think I see a follow-up from Pokemon Unite in regard to this issue. But it doesn't seem to be necessarily a specific exploit that players were doing to force themselves to win, so much as just perhaps some kind of lag handling, poor connection handling that was not perfectly implemented on Unite's end. So maybe not so much an exploit as it is maybe a fault, a bug in the coding or whatever is what it seems to be.
Yeah, this is... from what people were reporting, it was almost as though they queue up for a normal match. Somewhere in there, they would lose connection or be noted having a slow connection. They would play their actual game, but then when it was over, the score screen and their winnings would be the bot game that happened without their actual participation. And so that bot game ran in the background behind their game and became their actual score in the end.
Wild.
A bizarre bug, but yeah, you're right. We don't seem to have an update on this, nor have I heard people talking about it more, so maybe it was just kind of a mobile release problem.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. Like, I tried, like, I dodged all of that information, all that bug stuff. I'm like, I don't need to know this. So I saw that question. I was like, yeah, man, I don't know.
It wasn't really that relevant to me and my personal play experience. You know, I didn't seem to ever have it happen. But maybe that's because I'm out here playing on Ethernet on my Switch, and it's for unstable connections. So it's entirely possible that would affect people on mobile data more or something like that.
Well, the good news is that if you heard from somebody that this could be exploited, it was actually based on connection and.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it was ever something that you could do on purpose.
Exactly. We got a question from a wonderful name, Dark Shaggy.
Nice.
Who said, I would love to hear the host's thoughts on a new Pokemon added, but it's one of each type for each role. So Slowbro would be the Psychic Defender, and Lucario would be the Steel All-Rounder. So it looks like they're looking perhaps for a Pokemon that hasn't been added, that isn't currently covered.
Gotcha, because we need a bug type.
Yes, Beedrill!
There's no bugs. Beedrill would be cool. Scyther could be cool, right?
I just feel like Beedrill, I would experience such inner conflict as a bee clearing the bees. No, it's just my brethren, no!
A queen
as
bee,
I'm
no
farming
less.
them for points, yeah.
Beedrill's a different kind of bee, though, than comb bee and Vespiquen. Think of it like
so
comb bee and Vespiquen are like honey bees, and Beedrill is like one of those angry, like, Africanized killer wasp bees. Like, he doesn't mess around. He's not out here making honey. He's got no combs. He only kills.
So there's no love between the various bee communities, is what you're saying? There's
no.
Beedrill's that messed up part of the nature documentary where it gets kind of dark and he inhabits other people's homes, and it's not right. That's what makes him so great. And if he doesn't go zzz when he does whatever his, and I'm not talking like bee buzzing. I'm talking like drill, like drill.
a drill, yeah.
Yeah, because his stingers are drills.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I want to hear those drills whirl. Whatever it is he may
great.
do.
I think Scyther is cool. I always just thought Scyther looked really cool. Scissor's cool. And then I believe with the new main series game that's coming out, Legends of Arcturus, Scyther's evolution gets a regional variant that could be a cool tie-in, a new one. He's like I think he's a rock bug, I believe.
Crustle is bug rock, so we do have a bug Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bug?
At the list.
He's a bug and not a crab? What?
I'm just telling you what I see, okay? Google tells me that
I'm doing it right now.
Bug rock Pokemon. What, you don't believe me? You think I would just lie to you?
No, I just need to see it. I just need to see it in the Bulbapedia. I need to just...
Are crustaceans bugs?
I mean, kind of.
Water?
This is particularly relevant to me as a Texan that does not like eating crawfish. which is blasphemy down here in the Lone Star State. Everyone here loves it. To me, they're just sea bugs. They're sea cockroaches. So yes, crustaceans, to me, that's a bug. So I think it makes some sense.
They're both arthropods. Along with arachnids. Okay. We're getting it. So
arachnids are arachnids? They're not insects, is what it is.
Right. So they're arthropods.
But bug isn't synonymous with insect, I don't think.
No,
I'm just staring at a picture of Crustle trying to accept that this is a bug, and my whole day is honestly ruined right now.
What type would you have it if you, Kiyeberries, could dictate Crussle's typing? Would it be ground?
I guess it doesn't make any sense because it would have been water rock, right? Because he's a crab and they live in the water.
I mean,
but can you even be water rock?
I'm sure you can.
Directly oppose each other, right?
Now we gotta look up, are there any water rock Pokemon? This is the natural evolution of the conversation.
Okay, well, we got Dreadnought himself.
He's a turtle, so okay, it's allowed. So that's what I would have just off the top of my head assumed for Crustle, was they'd be water rock because he's a crab, he lives in the water, and he's a rock on his back. I mean, that's just boom, boom, boom.
I'm looking, okay, so water rock Pokemon are Caracosta, Dreadnought, Jotonian Corsola, Relicanth, and Turtoga. There's 5 of them, it looks like, by my count. Yes.
There you go. So it's not that crazy that's what I assumed. It exists. It's out there.
But it doesn't have any water moves. You would redesign Crustle's whole kit to fit around it being a crab?
I don't even know what Crustle's kit was. I've never had a Crustle on my team.
It is rocks.
What's exact? Well, no. Wait. He does the X strike thing.
X scissor. Yeah, you're right.
So that is a buggy thing.
It's a bug thing to do.
I'm just out here being shook right now.
Those are bugs. But Scyther is just awesome. Just straight up.
Scyther's real cool.
Awesome looking, cool Pokemon, hands down. It's true. Plus, we'd have to have the Weedle Kakuna thing, so.
I just felt like it was a cool tie-in because he's going to have a regional variant for the new game that's coming out in January, is it? So, yeah,
Mr. Chai asks, with the current roster, what do you think is the optimal team composition if you were a 5-stack?
Ooh.
5 Venusaurs. Now, if you can't have 5 Venusaurs.
All right, so first of all, Mr. Chia, I apologize for how Kyle said your name. Second of all, there is one particular
like the Chia
composition.
Yeah, that's Chia Chica Chia.
Yeah, and it's in the shape of a person, you know what I mean? And you put the water on it and it grows out grass-wise.
They were hanging out in my chat being off. Then they get extra cool points because I was just doing it to their face. I apologize. And they didn't say a thing. They're just chilling.
He's too nice for that.
Well done.
He's too nice for
that.
Well
done.
Okay. But anyway, there's one composition in particular that really stuck out to me. We ran against a team that ran it 2 or 3 times in a row. We kept queuing into them and just being no, every time because of how good it was. So I mentioned before that Venusaur is really good at fighting multiple people, joining team fights, and out-sustaining them, just outlasting the enemy team is what he's really good at, whittling you down while he doesn't take a lot of damage. And so this comp that we played against that was so good at tearing us down was a comp dedicated entirely to showing up to team fights 5-on-5 and having an absurd amount of AoE damage and healing. This entire composition, everyone was either an AoE damage or a healer. So it was Blastoise for AoE damage. That ult hurts. Venusaur, of course, AoE damage. Blissey was a healer, and then also an Eldegoss. In addition to that, they were running double healer, and the 5th one escapes me right now just off the top of my head. But basically the entire idea is just you will out-sustain the enemy team. Target focus doesn't matter a lot. No one will ever be able to take any of you out because you have so much healing, and your 5-on-5 prowess is just absolutely bonkers. This is actually it mirrors a style of composition that we saw in Heroes of the Storm, where for a while double support was the meta, strictly because it was so good at team fighting. And this is the exact kind of thing here. In a game that is currently dominated by a 5-on-5 team fight meta, where at minimum there are going to be at least 3 extremely predictable 5-on-5 situations in the first Dreadnought, the second Dreadnought, and Zapdos. So in a game where almost everything is decided through 5-on-5s, having this composition dedicated to 5-on-5s is just absolutely wild. So that was it for me. And if I can think of that 5th character before we get out of here, I will let you know.
I feel like it has to be Lucario because he's Lucario.
That's probably what it was, to be
and
honest.
I feel like every good team just has one. He's so dominant in the early game. He's good all the time. He's mobile. I just feel like it has to be Lucario. I would have said mostly all the same things too.
Aura.
Oh, was there Aura? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, who also has a ton of AoE damage between Discharge and his ultimate ability.
Would this...
Sorry, I hate to just cut you off there. I'm so sorry. Just
no, you had the information.
Okay.
Would this be a Wombo combo then? Like, or is that a different thing?
Not necessarily. A Wombo combo is like, we're going to use a bunch of abilities at the same time, and this is going to overwhelm them. There's not too much of that in this game from what I've seen, and if I was constructing a Wombo combo, I would probably have like Gardevoir ult as part of it. For example, Gardevoir ult just creates this big, huge vacuum circle for a second that holds people in place. If you were to combine that with like Cinderace Meteor or like Lucario's Ball or Greninja's huge Shuriken, stuff like that, I could totally see that being a Wombo. This is just like, we're going to show up as 5 to Dreadnought. We're going to show up as 5 again to Dreadnought, and to the third Dreadnought, if there is one, and to Zapdos. There's so much healing that you can't deal with it, and they just pick a bunch of characters that don't really want to take those individually small skirmishes, but excel in 5-on-5 AoE situations. So it's less about like, oh, strictly we're going to use all our abilities at the same time, and more, all of us are going to be here, and our powers combined when we form Captain Planet or whatever, or Voltron, is too much to overcome. It's less Wombo, more just full team power when all the pieces come together.
Just that insane pile of noise, and as an uncoordinated team, you run into it and go, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, what do I do? It was very rough for sure. It was to the point that when we were playing against this team comp, just absolutely stomping us with this. After like 2 games in a row, we were like, all right, let's not queue up for a little bit. Let's let those guys find a different match against some other people before we queue back up. It was bad.
Kiyeberries, have you witnessed anything that seemed 5-stack fantastic?
It's pretty similar, even if it's not a 5-stack. I definitely Blastoise all day, every day. Venusaur all day, every day. Eldegoss because I'm there. But Eldegoss or Blissey is fine. But if I'm there, it's going to be Eldegoss for sure. I do love the Lucario, especially for the early game. And then I haven't really had success with double healer. So for me, what I still see people doing and being successful with Crustle, doing whatever it is Crustle does, the race car jungle Crustle, just making sure they show up for those Dreadnoughts and then Zapdos. Because Crustle in a team fight is actually like upsetting to play against. He has a lot of CC, he does a lot of damage, he's unkillable. So he's off in the jungle being obnoxious, getting turn-ins, stealing jungle from your jungler, and then he shows up randomly for these, not randomly, but he shows up for these team fights and is just a force to be reckoned with, and then off he goes once Dreadnought's over. Goodbye. And Blastoise, Crustle together in a team fight is a lot of CC and displacement that is damage and almost unkillable. So that's really worked that I've seen.
Excellent. Crusha Nate asks, do you see a ranked version of the 3v3 or 4v4 coming to the game?
Well, I can say there's precedence for this in a way. I can think of 2 games where they started out with an alternate mode that was smaller players that I don't think had ranked at first, and then got them over time. These games are Rocket League, where Rocket League actually got a ranked mode of its of its smaller team side games. Like Rocket League is normally car soccer, but then they had hoops, which is car basketball. And at first there was no ranked mode for that, and players really wanted it, and they organized their own communities for it. And ranked hoops became a thing. League of Legends, I believe as well, also had ranked 3-on-3, even though it's typically a 5-on-5 game. So there's absolutely precedence for games not necessarily having those features at launch, but adding them on as they become more established, as they get a sense of long-term stability, and they know what their player base looks like. And as it grows just over time, it's absolutely realistic that we could see quick match ranked in the future. I wouldn't say expect it, because who knows what's happening, right? I don't think any of us ever see any of these changes coming outside of what you may find in, the occasional data mine, if you choose to look into that kind of stuff. So the possibilities are endless. Like, we have no idea what the company is doing, but that is absolutely on the table.
Though maybe on the table, Kiyeberries, you didn't sound like you wanted to sit at that table.
Weird champ, man. I don't know how I would feel about that. I haven't really put much thought into it. My first gut reaction was just, ugh. Maybe because the 3v3 and 4v4 maps feel kind of derpy. Maybe if the maps were different, the fact of being 3v3 isn't the weird part. It's like, think of like the one with the conveyor belts. Like, think of the one with Avalung in the middle. Like, those maps are weird. I can't imagine playing competitively, like actually like playing to win and playing to be serious on those maps. They're just so goofy, right? They just lend themselves to these really fast, fun, kind of who cares matches.
That's what people say about the games we play in general, Kiyeberries. You say, oh, I can't imagine, seriously trying at this fast casual game. And I'm like, are we not playing the fast casual MOBA?
I'm like out here playing a game for children, seriously. And then it's like, this mode is far too childish for me. And no, I get it. It's definitely.
No, but there's a copy of a copy. You go to the childish casual game, and then they say, are you ready for the childish mode? And you're like, whoa, now we've gone too far. And in particular, I think it's the conveyor belt map. There's like some sort of vacuum force field something around that one Pokemon in the bottom right, and I have no idea what's going on. I got scared and never played it again.
Dude, conveyor belts and MOBAs, man, are cursed, right? Did Volskaya teach us nothing? Like,
for the unaware, Volskaya Foundry was a map in Heroes of the Storm that heavily featured conveyor belts.
I just assume that the listeners are prepared for constant Heroes of the Storm references. Like,
Hey, we've done really well this episode.
Sure, I want to be a conduit for our viewers. Certainly there's at least one that hasn't played. And for you, if you are that one, I am here for you. Okay. I care more about you than Kiyeberries does. I want you to know that.
Well, there is, Mochre's been saying precedent today. There is Pokemon precedent of conveyor belts in Super Smash. And Pokemon itself had conveyor belts in quite a few of the labs, and the Rocket places had
we're breaking into the Team Rocket hideout. Let's go. Competitive puzzle solving.
Everyone knows that if you've got your super secret base where you do a lot of crime, you want to include conveyor belts going directly inside that children can find.
For convenience. You're moving a lot of big boxes full of illegal Pokemon merchandise.
Giovanni's like, all right, let's go in and see how the Mewtwo experiment's coming along. Everybody on the conveyor belts. I love it. Just, I always love comically ineffective villains. It's my favorite trope.
They're more enjoyable in person. Like the airport.
I just assume villains like that are like the super wealthy villains, and rather than going like the Batman route where they use their wealth for good, they're like, how can I just screw with people? Conveyor belts.
Well, there you have it. And that'll do for today's show. The 13th episode on the 13th. Nice and spooky. Thank you all for watching this episode, for joining us however you did on YouTube, on Twitch, through the podcast. Thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe on whatever service you use. If you want to know more about the show, head on over to kyleferguson.com. You can find the RSS feed there, as well as patreon.com/Aeos Clubhouse. You can also find links to our Twitter and our Discord on kyleferguson.com. 2 S's in Ferguson. Let's shoot it over to Kiyeberries first.
It is I, Kiyeberries. Thanks you guys for being here. These are so fun to record. I have a great time, and I hope you guys do too. You can find me where dogs bark. I don't know if you can hear him. He's popping off.
No.
But Twitch. It's good. That's a good thing. Twitch.tv/Kiyeberries, K-I-Y-E berries. Also YouTube, Twitter, I don't know, TikTok, all the places at Kiyeberries. I have YouTube specifically for Pokemon Unite, also for that other game we never stopped talking about, Here's the Storm. Hope to see you all there. Toss it over to you, your boy Mochrie.
Hello. I also have those things that Kiyeberries mentioned. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok even, yes. And I send Kiyeberries a bunch of videos and annoy her all the time.
Just some of those videos, I'm just like, I don't know what I just saw. Like, I'm like still processing to this day. Like,
I love to find just the absolute most unsettling videos possible, and those are the ones that get sent to my friends. But regardless, I am Mochrie TV. That's Mochrie TV. You can find me on those platforms. What about you, Kyle?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson. I already did it.
How
though.
many S's?
Okay. There are 2 S's.
How many S's?
2 S's. Where is the son of Fergus? Twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson is where this week I was playing a little bit of Back for Blood, but of course playing Here's the Storm and a little bit of Pokemon Unite naturally over there. You can also find my shows about Dungeons and Dragons over at kyleferguson.com. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for listening. However you got it, we're happy to have you here. Have a lovely week, y'all.
See you later. Remember,
Bye.
I care more about you than Kai does.
oh my goodness. Probably true though.